Right then, guys. So we've got the main man, Andrew Roberts, in here. The plant-powered coach, an absolutely incredible bloke, a very nice man. That's what I would say, a very nice man, and that's actually going to be one of the things that I'm going to discuss today is how much of a nice man Andrew is, and with his social media content. Genuinely, that's one thing that we're going to be speaking about today. And because what I always look for is obviously we'll go through the same process of the opportunities, processing, and main problems. But I always like to look at, from an overview perspective, where are the real key missing gaps and where are the big problems that's going to create the highest ROI activity and return, but also short and long term as well. So before we dive into that, brother, do you want to just basically introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? What you're about? Sell yourself. Sell me that pen, like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Andrew Roberts. I've been doing this for around 6 years now. Before that, I was working in accounts for quite a while, but it just got to the point where it just felt fucking meaningless, and I wanted more purpose. And 2 years before that, I turned vegan and became really interested in plant-based nutrition. And then I'd always been interested in sport and fitness growing up. So for my next step, I thought I genuinely want to do something that I actually care about, not just entering numbers into a spreadsheet. So I started helping people for free and whilst I was still working, and then just slowly over time, kind of built up a client base and then started posting on social media, built a decent following. And then that got me to the point really where I am today. And I've been doing it for, yeah, 6 years, focusing on helping, just changed my niche actually to helping specifically plant-based men. But before that, it was just plant-based people in general.
Nice. So gone down a little bit of route of like a passion project in essence as well. And it's funny because me and Andrew just spoke about what's going to happen with coaching in the next 6 months. Obviously, with everything on the AI side, I've not shown the guys yet because it'll blow their minds. But I'm building out my own AI development tech team, which is investing quite a lot of money into it. But with Claude coding now. I would not even be able to, I wouldn't even be able to comprehend what you can do. I'm gonna have to try and start to explain what this software is, but like anything that was never possible before, it is now possible with Claude Code. And we're basically talking about what's going to actually happen to fitness. And I basically said like anyone who is a generalist with the content that they create, the person that they showcase online, the offers that they have. This is not just fitness. Anybody in any sector, in any niche, who goes down a generalist route will be absolutely fucking destroyed. Andrew was saying is like, oh, what do you reckon's gonna happen in the next 5 to 6 years? I was like, uh, the next 6 months. The next 6 months will be it's been coming. It was all of last year was slow building to it, but now I am 1 billion% behind. The next 6 months is going to be the crossroads that people will have to make. It's going to be a real. It's going to be incredible for some people, which we're going to make sure that Andrew's in that spot, but also it's going to be a big hard hitting point for some. If you feel like you can get away with just putting basic content out there and general content and general offers, and you don't focus on building any type of legacy business, then you're going to get fucking destroyed. As simple as that, because of Claude Code and everything else that's coming out at the moment. So I'll just pop this open here. So we've got Andrew's Instagram profile here. So I think the last YouTube that we basically did was actually on someone who had built a decent following but had a similar spot where the following didn't obviously still got a good business, but it wasn't really equaling what he were obviously kind of doing. And we had a bit of discussion about that last time. And I've got some specifics on Andrew as well. I remember we got because Andrew was part of our Propel program. Um, and I remember I was speaking to Charlie and Drew and Becca we always have little touch points on clients. And I said, do you know what Andrew's biggest problem is? I was like, no, what is it? I said, it's too nice. I'm not even joking. I said it's
Yeah.
too. I'm not even joking. You might be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, Andrew's biggest problem is the fact that he's just too nice.
Yeah.
And in the market now, happy go looking, happy go friendly. Yeah, it's great and it gets people through. But people want. I've got this concept. You know, the concept of the fence of despair. Right. And that's where basically someone is sat on the fence where they're not too polar. The great thing about Andrew is the fact that he's actually got an incredible opportunity to create hyper bipolar content without even
Mm.
needing to change who it is. Why? Because he's a vegan men's coach. Like that there, and we're going to talk about this today, is you can be putting some really strong beliefs out there, which you actually have to stand behind. Because sometimes when I work with people, I'm like, what you call beliefs in this area, they're like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And a lot of people are literally, they're not sat on the fence of despair. They are the fucking fence of despair. Whereas Andrew 100% has positioning with his mission and positioning with that there. But what I want to talk about is like, how do we actually start to bring this through? Because we need to get to a point where people really know where he stands, and that's what I want to be kind of going over today. So on this document here, the first thing I always laugh because this is literally, I would say that 90% of consultation calls that I do always start with predictable system for booking calls. There's no
Yeah.
such fucking, oh, well, actually, no, I'll tell you what, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I will show you how with Claude Code and live reporting from Meta ads and Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and everything can 1000% give predictable system for booking calls and lead generation. Whereas as it stands right now, predictability comes down to like how well you've got things in sync together. When it comes to meta ads, you're always having to guess, or there's a certain percentage of guesswork with what creative is going to work, what piece of content is going to work, what's going to do all that. With Claude Code and AI now, which I'm going to be getting to guys soon, you can mitigate all of that risk, right? But most of the time there's no such thing as, and that's why I would say to people is like, if you're waiting for a predictable way to generate leads and book calls, you'll be waiting a fucking long time. The thing that you need to do is you need to focus on how much new shit am I trying all of the time, and if something doesn't work, so what, you move on to the next thing. So some people might pop off with doing live workshops or short challenges or group challenges or DMs or top of funnel ads or whatever. I'm a big believer in, I want all of that shit running all of the time and improve it all, right? So that's number one, which is it's going to be a discussion point, 100%. And then Andrew, you'll be able to read this and stuff afterwards, because what I like to do is I like to talk about things at high level where I see the gaps are. So
Yep.
we've spoke about large audience, which is obviously not converting the same that we obviously want. And then we've got daily flow conversations, micro offers, and we've got all that type of stuff, which we'll be discussing about, right? This one here is something that stood out to me straight away, right? So we've currently got a VA, which is further down the document, where that she's doing 40 outbound messages per day. But
Mhm.
then, based on what I've processed back, there's the outbound, which is the initiated conversation section. But then the breakdown is coming in with the actual conversation after that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Right. How much are you paying that VA?
Literally like $90 a month.
Right. Um, I never talk about I never talk about people's sales on calls. The first thing I put, that's why I've pulled your sales down to the bottom there.
Mhm.
First thing that I'd be looking at there is that there is a broken system. In essence, it's like, yeah, you've got messages and stuff going out, but it's a bit of a broken system. I've actually got a training at 1 p.m. today, which is going to talk through a step by step, getting off the ground, who to hire, when to hire, how to hire, moving to ads, everything else there. If I was in that spot there, I would, the first thing I'm thinking is, right, I have got a big audience, I've got decent engagement. I need to be plugging that gap with a better system. So a better system would be to have a VA, which is in your account, which just focuses on the volume of outreach. The beautiful thing that we've fucking got here, mate, is like, if you forget about followers for a second, you don't like whatever, like, let's leave engagement. Let's just think, right, how do we get this from X per month and 10x that come, right?
Yep.
That's going to come from those 72,400 people, right? If I was in your spot, I'd be looking at, right, and you've obviously got Gemma with DM Trust Flow, which I've just loaded in, and that's basically a partnership that I've built from scratch. Literally, it's been brilliant because I've built my own solution. So
Yep.
so how I like to run appointment setting is you have one person's role, which is focusing on volume outreach per day. So that person is a robot. Their job is to hit 100, 120, 150 outbound messages per day, right? Because that's going to ensure that you've got the conversational flow that comes in afterwards, right? If you've got a VA who is trying to do your volume, well, even 40 per day is not that much. If you've got a VA who's just doing your 40 per day, but then they're coming to the next day and then they're not managing the conversations after that, then they're going back to the volume. That's broken. All right. So
Mhm.
what you want is you want to have a synergy between a VA is there to just hit volume and KPIs. Right. So if I went onto my, so am I sharing my screen to you, by the way? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So what you've got to basically imagine, right, is this. So you've got two different parts of like appointment setting, right? So you've got your overview KPIs. So basically, what we're looking for here is a setter's job. Sorry, not a setter. A VA's job is to hit volume. So that
Mhm.
person's job is to go right. Sweet, we've got 150 there. Out of that, we had 70 responses. Sweet, we're on a 46% response rate. So you've then got someone in a role who's doing that, and the combination of this role, we'll talk about fees and stuff in a minute. And then after that, you have someone who's an appointment setter who manages the conversations.
Right.
So do you know what I mean? So you got one person's job is to hit volume, and you got one person's job is to make sure that those conversations are managed as they're starting to come through. Right.
Mhm.
So when we're looking at this as an element, I'll obviously give you the fab and follow up and everything after this anyway. It'll have a step by step to do list, everything else. What I would personally be doing is I'd be like, right, I need to fix that ASAP. It's obviously going to cost more, but if you get that role fixed, it's gonna pay back in dividends. So it
Yeah.
might be like to get an Gemma has different packages, but if I was getting the package that I'd want to have a VA on there for certain amounts per day and an appointment set, and that might be like 800 quid a month, right? Or something like I'm not, I should know that, but it should be right because I actually built it. Um, and you might look at that and be like, where your sales has been like, you've obviously had some good months, then some low months or whatever. But the main responsibility of that role there, when you invest into it, is to fucking pay back tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously now you've come down, you're in the group program with us, you've got access. And I know you're always thinking about money, but you need to spend money to make money, right?
Mhm.
And then what we've basically got there is as a pipeline. So I've just done this with Lewis Davis. Lewis Davis is one of my other clients. He's created a new Instagram page. Um, I'm not saying that you need to do that, but he's created a new
Yeah.
Instagram page called Lewis Coach. Where's on that? And there's one on my one-to-one. He's already in
Mm.
the last 2 weeks has built this 2,280 followers. He's followed obviously, and then when you create a new page, it follows new people. He's now booking more calls off that page already than you're doing on this on his Lewis Davis page. Where's that other one? On this one, and that's got 23,000 followers, right?
Uh,
But we're not ignoring that page because that's still 23,900 people that can be contacted. So what you can
mm.
basically do is when you've got this volume outreach, you have 3 to 5 split messages, and then your VA is doing 100 to 150 per day by sending these messages out, literally retargeting that followers list, right?
Yeah.
What they're going to do, they might ignore the message, they might reply, they might unfollow, so fucking what, right? But once we've got that, we can split test to see which messages are performing the best. And then that means that you've got 72,000 people, which is technically a lead list that I would generally focus on as a starting point. But yeah, obviously you need to get the roles fixed for that one there. So what I'm going to do off the back of this, I will write you up and be like, right, based on the appointment setting and DM management is broken. This is what I would recommend that you do, how you do it, and then link you with Gemma to have a call with her because then she can basically talk you through a few different areas on how things work there. But
Mm.
in reality, you potentially have a substantial amount of money that is just not been managed properly in DMs already.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing, like I've never put effort into DMs really, like just from people booking calls organically. That's how really I've always had my leads. So would you still recommend hiring like someone to do the DM conversations when I've never really actually almost mastered it myself?
Uh, if before I built my own solution and I said yeah, now I've built my own solution, I'd probably say not as much because you've got higher value priorities that you'd be focusing on. If I was in your spot where it's like right, should I go and manage my DMs per day, which is going to take 2 to 3 hours, or if I feel like my Instagram page is up and down, why don't I start another Instagram page posting really high? Because what you've got to take into account on this page, right, is the fact that you have gone through multiple different niche transitions.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I'm a big anybody who has built a large profile like what you have done and had to change niche and offers, I would say that 80% of the time I always recommend them to have a side page which is building up just based on hyper specific content for that alone. And also
Okay.
what we're gonna be talking about in a minute with these opinions and stuff that you can obviously put out there.
Yeah.
And then you've got double the because what you'll find is on that fresh new page, you'll 100% get more inbound interest because it's people who are coming for that reason alone. Well, you might have 60% of them who were here for something else before down the line before you obviously positioned into what you're doing.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Like
if you,
70% of my following, this is just naturally with like the vegan community anyway, it's more tends to be women who are vegan.
yeah,
So 70% of my following are women, 30% are men.
that bro answers your fucking question straight away.
Mm,
Set without question, because obviously you are now targeting a 30% niche on that page. Whereas if you created a new, keep this up, mate, it's so simple. You literally just have. And also what I like about this as well is you have basically built this page on the plant powered coach, right?
mhm.
I would personally, I'd just be launching a fucking Andrew Roberts page.
Yeah, yeah,
And then what you can
definitely.
start to I literally sent this to someone this morning. Said what you can do there is like on this page here, you can be a little bit more like pain driven, polarizing, whatever else. We'll still do personal brand stuff, but on your new page, you can just get. It's almost like you've got that fresh start and fresh mentality with it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I do not know anyone who has ever regretted starting a side backup page.
Mhm. Yeah,
Joe Gagne years ago, he lost his account, and then when he actually rebuilt his following, he's obviously smashing it again now. But he was like, "Oh my God, my business is fucked," and it literally 8 weeks later, it doubled his revenue just from 2-3 thousand followers from hyper specific people on that page.
wow. So yeah, if I what would you recommend posting on this specific page and still the plant powered one?
But cool, and I'm going to come around to that one in a minute. All right.
Yeah,
Too much time spent on delivering the service. Is that like with Claude now, with what you can do and position that you're in? I would personally not be, it wouldn't be right for me to come in and be like, right, I think you should fucking start delegating this and doing that because you're not in a spot to be able to do it.
no.
If you fix your DM system with the two role structure and follow a strategy and you've got sales and calls and everything coming in, then yeah, potentially you're going to be in a spot down the line where you can be like, right, now I can start to exit fulfillment. Because what you basically have, bro, is you have content acquisition, sales, and fulfillment
Mm,
as four pillars, right? At the moment, you're managing all of those, or you've got one of them that's not going right. So, what I'm suggesting here is that you remove yourself from acquisition.
yep.
So, if you can invest into acquisition, that means that you've only got content, fulfillment, and sales to focus on. From that point, right, once you're like, right, I'm a bit all over the place here and I still need to do the load more stuff, then what you can do is you can remove yourself from sales.
Mm,
Yep. So then you basically build that into there. And then eventually, when you're like, right, sweet, I've got content and I've got fulfillment left. Now I can bring on a coach. So I'm just focusing on content because my acquisition, fulfillment, and sales is covered for me. So you
yeah.
can't come in and do all of it straight away, but let's just focus on the acquisition element first. Um, content is consistent but not strategic. This is going to be a big talking point in a minute. We've obviously just highlighted that anyway. That's going to be something that we need to fix immediately. Are you doing anything on long form yet?
No.
I'd highly recommend it.
Mhm.
So easy to do.
Yeah,
So easy to do. But these assets here, they just compound over time. Like people don't do it because they're too lazy to do it. That's most of the time. And they also people live in a mentality now of needing instant reward and instant gratification. YouTube isn't like that. But for me now, if I launch an episode, I might only get 30 to 40 to 50 views or something in that first week or so. But then over time, those episodes just compound views, compound views, compound views.
yeah.
I would say that I've had 3 or 4 messages in the last 4 days of people saying that they've binged my YouTube episodes.
Mm,
And my guy, like I'll say it for record, like my YouTube ain't going viral. It's not going to go viral anytime soon. But I
yeah,
know full well if someone watches 3 of my YouTube episodes back to back, they're going to want to start. They're going to want to come and ask questions. So I think
100%.
YouTube is definitely something that I think would be great to obviously kind of push on. And that obviously answers that question with the Instagram as well.
Just on that, Ben, on YouTube, like how long does it take you to create the long form content? Because that's like my one concern. I do genuinely want to actually create long form now, but it's just a time element.
What have you got a Digi set up or?
No,
Have you got a
no, I
camera?
don't know
So
what that
you're just
is.
doing, you're just I'll show you mine, right? Because 'cause it's over there, I'd say. What you can basically do is you can set up your Digi and have like a mic on which supports you with key points that you make on a video. What I'm actually doing, if you look at a lot of my old YouTubes, they're either just talking on a whiteboard, they're just stood talking to a camera. Obviously, I aim for 3 YouTubes per week now. What I'm going to be moving into is one screen share per week and then one straight talking one. But genuinely, like I did a YouTube this morning between 8 and 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So, and I've not even, so all I will do is I literally got my phone up and had the camera, recorded the video 10, 12 minutes. I've then got that onto my computer, drag it into CapCut, trip it, click auto generate captions. That file's done. And then I've got some preset Canva stuff on here. So, and this is what I mean. People might think that I used to spend £10,000 a month on a full media team, but because
Yeah.
I don't do it, it's not that difficult to just do yourself. So on here, then I just have my YouTube covers. So I've got the consult one, like what we'll be doing, and I've got this one, and I just rep because for me, I'm playing a long game on YouTube. I'm just stacking. Like, yeah, you want to see it perform and you want to see it engage, but for me, it's not about how many views I get and stuff or how many subscribers. It's just a fact of if I get 50 people who watch 3 or 4 YouTubes back to back, they come back to me straight away. So
Yeah.
I just I stack volume and value, volume and value. That's all I do with YouTube. But also most YouTube specialists who I've spoke to said that like you have to do that for a period of time and then it just gets to a point where it just surges up.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's very rare it's very, very rare that someone's YouTube account will grow substantially. Um, even even if they have a massive following. So Adam Hode, one of my clients, like he's actually only just seen a surge on his YouTube, even though he's been putting all of his short form reels onto there.
Mhm.
He's not even done any long forms yet, but he's so obviously he's built an audience of 2.5 million on Instagram.
Hell.
His YouTube's yeah, but the thing is he's been posting the same reels to YouTube, but
Yeah.
he's only just seen a surge now years later.
That's interesting. Yeah. So it just goes to show you got to just post and post, haven't you, really?
Yeah, you just compound onto YouTube and then just keep an easy, simple setup. Right. So,
And
what I
and
want
sorry,
to,
Ben, just one more question on that. Do you just keep it like essentially very low production? You're sitting there with a camera and you just talk about whatever topic, is on your mind.
yeah, do not
Yeah.
overcomplicate. Mate, I was spending. That's why I've gone back to doing it how I used to, because I was spending £600 to £800 on an episode last year.
Mm.
Highly edited interactions, clips, chopping different stuff. But I was like, look, if I can compound enough volume and value on YouTube, and say, for example, I go from 1,200, 300 subscribers to 10,000, then that's when I might be like, right, sweet, I'm going to bring an editor in now. But like
Yeah.
I actually, I remember when I were highly editing my YouTubes, I had people messaging me literally saying we preferred it when it was just straight
Mm.
raw.
Yeah.
Like it's a much easier watch rather than when you're watching something and then suddenly some belay drops in or something else like. And I get it because 100% you need to do that down the line. But like for where you're at with YouTube and where I'm at with YouTube, it's just volume and value. You literally just get your camera up. You could potentially have it where you've got your camera face. Do you have like a whiteboard or anything?
Yeah. I do, yeah.
Well, this would be as simple as getting a little tiny prop mic on there, having your camera obviously facing at you with your mic on there, and then proper whiteboard behind your camera, and
Yeah.
give yourself 5 to 6 talking points. Do 2 minutes on each talking point. You've got a 12-minute YouTube episode.
Yeah. It really is
You,
simple, isn't it, when you put it like
Yeah.
that?
And you barely have to think. So that's why I have that set up with my teleprompter on my phone. Just so when I'm talking through a topic, I'll have the little prompts that'll pop up so I know what I need to speak about next as I'm flowing into it.
Hmm.
But like
Yeah.
but those episodes there, mate, with a 72,000 audience, if you had 2% of that audience start watching long form YouTubes, how much are going to get to know you more? How much are they going to start to trust you more?
Yeah. 100%. And I think that's probably one of the biggest levers I can pull because, as you said there, they more obviously most of them won't even see it, but like 5 1-minute reels per week versus one YouTube episode, they're gonna learn more and know me more, way more in that one YouTube episode.
Right. So the thing that I want to talk about is the fact of which is a great trait. Like I'm a very nice person. Right? I categorize myself as a very nice person, right? But I can also be a cunt when I need to be a cunt. And when I've got an opinion on something, I've got a strong opinion on that. So
Yeah.
even though I might, it is quite polarizing what I may believe or not. Like people always know where they stand with me.
Hmm.
Is if I was look at, you'll see I've got some of the next level systems that have been built in background. I've got meta ads primed up and optimized on a fucking absolute different level. Probably posting onto marketing channels with emails and content and different channels over 30, 40 times a week.
Hmm.
Without question, the single reason that people invest into me and the coach consultant is because of me, because of that. That
Yeah.
is every single time was like, and I was because we say when I said why they sign up, they saw that reel, or they read that email, or they just liked how you acted. They thought that you were different. It's
Yeah.
no one's ever like honestly like even though I'm pretty sure I've got one of the most high level AI solutions for marketing, acquisition, fucking everything else that you can run at the moment. People never come in and go, yeah, I come in because of that. They come in because of me.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's a battle that I had to face for a while. And with you, it's like you're such a nice guy to the point where I think it can be detrimental.
Hmm. I would agree. Yeah.
Genuinely. Because it's like when I land on the Plant Power Coach Instagram, I don't immediately get hit with what is this guy about? What is he
Hmm.
what is he thinking? What is he going through? What are his opinions? Like what are like polarizing stuff like one and I'm not saying do it, but like one of the easiest ways that you can be generating reach, right, on here is basically visually showcasing the reason why are you vegan?
Hmm.
If I ask you that question, why are you vegan? What happened for you to change to eating meat, then go to eating vegan stuff?
So it was originally because I watched this documentary called What the Health, which basically massively opened my eyes about how we've been conditioned all our lives that we have to eat meat and dairy to be healthy. But it kind of very clearly demonstrated that you don't need to. So it was originally from a health perspective. However, when you turn vegan, you kind of start uncovering loads of other shit about how animals are treated. And that's really the primary reason now, because I know you can still eat a bit of meat and dairy and be fully healthy.
Right. I'm no, I'm going to be asking you questions here, which you might even fact because obviously remember being vegan is a belief and it's something that you believe to your core.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some questions right now, which you might even find upsetting with what I'm going to research. But I'm going to
Yeah.
show you what's that thing. So what stories or things have happened within animal cruelty specifically where you're like, oh my God, that made me that made my blood boil. That made me so angry.
Yeah. So there's again a couple of documentaries where they go inside these slaughterhouses and you actually see how fucked up it all is and how they treat the animals. And yes, of course, there is like grass-fed farming and all that shit where cows and stuff can walk free, but for the most part, it's properly fucked up. And how they kill them and treat them is, yeah, not something that personally, once I see that, I can continue to do because I don't agree with it.
And this is your beliefs. This is your
Hmm.
beliefs. This is why you do it. But when I click onto that shit, that when I click onto this here, I'm like, I'm not feeling those strong beliefs because people are looking for someone like that. The first thing that I would be doing, right, is so for example, like the most easy post that you can ever do, find a picture of the documentary because what you've got to find is there'll be a lot of other vegans out there will have watched that fucking documentary, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The same when it comes for the what the health, right? Then what
Mhm.
I'd do is I'd save a picture of that there, and then what I would do is I'd go straight. I think I did a post like this last night. I would have so I'm doing it at the moment on this one here. It's like an image in the background, and I'm just doing a voiceover there, and you can talk about that documentary and talk about how it made you feel and talking about your beliefs.
Yeah, yeah.
Right now,
I like it.
imagine those style posts, bro, but for every experience that you've been through. It could
Hmm.
be, I remember, like, have you had any personal experiences with meat or something where I'm trying to think of going to that next layer.
Not, no, I haven't actually, to be fair. Like I've had it where I've been served it and I've accidentally eaten it. So I could talk about maybe like a story like that. It's not that polarizing, I guess that. Um, but
See
there's loads
straight
of
away
shit.
that,
Like for
mate.
example,
How many thousands of men on there have been in that situation where they've been served meat without knowing, right? How many
yeah,
thousands of men out there are mocked and judged
yeah, that's
by
what I was about to say. Yeah,
by
that's the
friends and
worst thing.
family?
Mhm.
Have you done much on that, like where people get you get mocked and judged and mocked for it?
A little bit. I like not that much though. I've talked about it a bit, but not that much.
Right. Can you see the drift of where I'm coming from here? Because the thing is, what we want, right, is if we sort you out, which I'll do a full write up on how I think that you need to approach fixing the DM system problem.
Mhm.
This here will be completely and utterly determined by the quality of conversations that you'll have from those type of discussion points.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You then also got like documenting your own processes, right, and everything else into that side of making it about you, right?
Mhm.
But based on what we've just spoke about here, right? So we know that this is 70% women and 30% men,
Mhm.
right? That there for me is based on the niche and stuff that you're targeting at the moment, you're automatically on the back foot. So I personally think, and there's two benefits to having an Andrew Roberts Instagram because it's just literally personal brand driven,
Yeah.
and named, which is going to be massive. But then what you can basically do is you can have just obviously fresh new content, and then you've also got fresh new followers. And then what basically happens as well is when you create a new account and you start creating content on certain areas, you'll basically get suggested followers, which are all going to be in your niche.
Mhm.
It's that I've done I can't express how many times I've done this. And it's the first thing that people are saying is like, oh my God, like I'm this new Instagram, it's just feeding me people in my niche. So do you know
Yeah.
you won't know until you create a new pet. I've also done it recently with Walk and Talk page, but
Mhm.
all of my suggested followers are all the people on who are niche on there.
And when you say that, do you mean like other people that are doing similar things to what you're doing?
No, your target niche, the people, the content that you're creating stuff around, the people who have got the same algorithm as you, the people who are
I see.
anything vegan, you,
Yeah.
anything animal cruelty, you, anything like that is going to come to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got that new opportunity to run it. And then one thing that I think that you also need to be doing a lot more is like the stuff on personal brand SS, and that is really going out of your way to doc like look what does vegan mean to you? So like for me, like I've had different vegan clients and different people over the past, and I've had some people who are vegans where I'm like, oh my God, like you have got the most intense opinion I have ever experienced. Like you know what
Mm.
some vegans are like, mate. It's like fucking
Yeah.
hell. Like I
And
don't mind.
I'm actively almost against that as
Yeah.
well because that pisses me off.
What's the best way to describe it?
Actively against, so I
Cult.
guess like just being over the top with the message in general. Yeah.
Right, that's something that's another layer to it because you've got the vegans out there who fucking don't like other vegans, like
Yeah,
because that,
literally. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. It's like I've worked with so many clients who are gay, right? And
Mhm.
I learned so much about it because I was like, I just thought if you're gay, you're gay. You've just got a gay man. And then the deeper that I went into it with some of these clients, like, oh no, there's different types of gays, and I'm like, what do you mean different types of fucking gays? It was like, oh, you've got like your sissies, and then you've got your bears, and like a bear. So like a bear is a terminology for a large, hairy male gay man.
Guess you're a bear then, right?
Yeah, I'm not hairy though, to be fair. So, but then straight away I was like, right, because what you've got here, and it's the same type of process. Because I was like, when I've got these clients, I was like, well, you need to speak to that certain type of gay person because then going to feed into there. Whereas you need to speak to that type of vegan, where it's like, look, you're vegan, you've got these beliefs, but fuck what people are saying to you about it, and also fuck these people who feel like they need to run vegan down your neck at every chance that they get. Like, I'm
Mm.
not about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can you see how I spell? I'm not saying swear, but can you see how I spoke then? I was like, you could see straight away I was doing it from a perspective of like, it's just, I'm a strong belief that I've got. I'm not been a
Mm.
cunt. I'm not been a twat. I'm not been horrible to someone, but I'm like, look, this is where I stand. Like, if you disagree with it, that's absolutely sweet. But it's about
Yeah.
really narrow down and speaking to the right people because they like, that's going to be fine. We're going to look at how we get an immediate solution for this. But the performance of that will be completely and utterly determined on this.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the I can't remember which training it is. I think it's on the first. Yeah, the path of least resistance. Like I can't begin to express how important this is in this area of AI now.
Hmm.
Like the path of least resistance for getting more opt-ins to your lead magnets, better follow-ups, better responses, better everything. So like when we're the first thing that I'll be looking at here is like, look, if we've got a side quest Instagram running, that mate, within 6 to 8 weeks, you'll be like, oh my God, why the fuck did I not do this sooner?
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
people who come to that page will be reading that bio, seeing man, you'll be hearing man, you'll be talking about man, and you'll be building like a completely different audience on that page, and it'll pay off in dividends, short and long term. So then
Yeah.
what we've got here is we've got this page where it's like, right, well, sweet, we've got fucking 72,000 people. So uh what is 30% of 72,000? So there is 21,600 people on average, men who are on that Instagram there,
Mhm.
right? And then what do we do is you have got split test outreach messages at them directly,
Yeah.
right? And if they don't, mate, it don't fucking matter if they don't reply. If let's just say that you get a 10% response rate or something, that's still a shitload of people. But you've also this page is going to build up here, which is going to be all fresh new followers and stuff coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're looking at that type of system where we're looking at retargeting followers for those 21,000 people, I always go back to why. Why would someone reply?
Mhm.
Why would someone reply? They're going to reply because they're like, this guy's stands the same in the same place as I do when it comes to fucking opinions on vegans.
Yeah.
This guy has watched the same documentaries as I have and is talking about stuff that I'm interested in. He's got the same beliefs as me with that there.
Hmm.
Though the people will respond because they've been served that piece of content.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And then your next layer from that is like let's just say that you've got obviously like new followers coming, you've got a good reach, you've got a good flow. It's like, right, if someone's like, you've got a meet, so I think you come into the community after I built this, but you've got an action threshold. So you've got lower action threshold people and higher action threshold people. Right?
Yeah.
Lower action threshold people will be the people who see that piece of content and they're like, oh my God, I found my man.
Hmm.
Straight away, they'll see a piece of content and they're like, boom, I get it all the time. Inbound inquiries just off a piece of content or responding to an email. But then you've
Yeah.
got the higher action threshold people where they're like, I like what it's about, is earning my trust, but
Mhm.
I need something else. And they're looking for something else at the moment, but there ain't anything else, is there? They've got a
No.
lead magnet that they can go down. But if they go like, oh fucking hell, he's got a YouTube channel,
Mhm.
and you got and they go onto it and there's literally 10, 15, 20, and if you just set a even if you made the 2 YouTubes per week and started creating every week, I post that on my weekly roundup, my YouTube, so it's on my post every single week. I don't do it on stories anymore because I'm too lazy. But if you put emphasis on getting people to go off Instagram to that YouTube channel to watch those episodes, then those higher action threshold people be like, oh, do you know what, I'm 100%, this is the one.
Yeah. And with the YouTube content, then, do you stick on this kind of route where you talk about your strong beliefs, or is that more of a value-based thing?
I would do two split, right? So
Mhm.
I would be doing one, which is a high personal one per week, and I would be doing which is one which is just straight process driven value for you. If I like, yeah, I wouldn't even need to think about it. That's what I'd run.
Mhm.
I my YouTube now. So these live client consults for me, like this is my episode where it's both value but also personality because I'm
Yeah.
speaking naturally. I'm in a conversation. It's like a bit of a podcast. It's interactive and stuff as well. And then for my other episodes, I'll be doing like one which is like a split because I need to do more split screen IP merging, showcasing demos, and I'll do one which is just straight talking value. But I think for
Yeah.
you right now, because and the thing what you got to take into account is where I am with YouTube. People can go back and look at mental health episodes that I've had, or stuff on my wife and my kids, or trips that I've been on holidays, or mountains that I've fucking climbed, or podcasts that I've been on. Like the personality side for YouTube for me is not something that I don't think I need to get across as much because I've done so much of it. Whereas because you've never done that on that platform before, I
Yeah.
personally think if you started with these high bipolar YouTube titles and fucking topics
Mm.
for one episode to kick the week off on a Monday, and then you come in on a Thursday with a straight vegan value process type YouTube episode, then you're going
Yeah.
to be on to an absolute winner, mate. And what you've got to always take into account here is like you don't want to overload yourself with too much.
Yeah. 100%.
There's nothing because otherwise nothing ever gets done. If I
Mhm.
was in your shoes right now, I would be immediately when I've wrote this up to be focusing on the appointment setting um system and getting yourself into a spot where you can get that fixed properly. Immediately position the plant powered coach Instagram into more polarizing opinions and pain and stuff because you've got these documentaries you can talk over. Because mate, honestly, you hit one of them documentary posts, right? How many hundreds of thousands of people have watched that documentary?
Yeah, literally, probably millions.
Millions,
Yeah.
millions of people. So the chances of that getting high level reach and interaction and comments, which is going to be easy for conversations, is going to be ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like,
100%.
don't be afraid to like look like and you need to be careful with the slaughterhouse stuff. That's the only thing I'll say is
Hmm.
documentary. Yeah, if you say fact like slaughter publication. Right, can you see what I mean? I know it's obviously not nice to look at. What you
Yeah.
don't want to do is you don't want to be showing like because there's a chance that you might get like blocked or something with it.
And or something. Yeah. Hmm.
Whereas something like that is not like that. There, people who know they know, but it's an image of a bloke holding a sheep. But you can, do you know
Mm.
what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're really clever, and what you'll find, mate, is like I'm guessing that your algorithm probably feeds you this type of content all the time, doesn't it? Or does
It
it
doesn't
not?
be fair because I try not to. I don't particularly like watching that much of it.
Yeah.
So it's more like business or sports stuff that it
Or is
feeds
it
me.
business and sports? Right.
Mm.
Because well, it depends. When you start creating content around this type of stuff, you might get some bits.
Yeah.
Because what I'm looking for is like top of funnel reaction videos, like what.
Mm.
So, but just focus on like storytelling, just focus on that type of area, and I'll give you a list of other areas that you could do. Like you could even do a series on. There's going to be so many TV shows and documentaries on this stuff,
Yeah. Definitely.
and then so one appointment setting, two primary powered Instagram, and then three side quest personal driven Instagram, and then number
Mhm.
four YouTube episodes.
Can you cross post? So, like for example, the shit I'm doing on plant power, can that be on the new Andrew Roberts one as well?
Yeah, 100%. So I'd probably start collaborating one post per week. The beauty
Yeah.
of this, bro, is what I'd do is when you post onto have your Andrew Roberts strategy running just easy on its own, and then same for Plant Power Coast. If you get to a point where one of your posts performs really well on the Plant Powered Instagram,
Mhm.
let it spike. Don't collab it straight away. Let the spike on that go through the roof, right? So let loads of views come to it, and then afterwards, then I collaborate it. So then when it compounds more over time, it's just like a high engagement post that you've got.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay, cool.
even just talk about it on your stories as well. It takes time to build it up. Like what we want those 21,000 men to be going onto that new page to be it with different styles of content and stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah. And how many posts would you recommend then that I need to kind of do on Instagram?
I'd be doing 7 and 7 each per week.
Okay. So 14 overall.
14 posts per week, split between two different pages. And you
Mm.
might, right, bro, don't. I had this conversation with someone yesterday. Do not think, right, all these posts that you're doing here, like when you've got these, like interactive stuff where you've got that added onto there and you've got a ranking structure. Like when you've
Mm.
got this meal here, you've got two different ones, what you're doing as a comparison side structure. These are going to take you fucking ages, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That this one here, mate, it took me 45 seconds.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's not about reach, not about engagement. The amount of messages that it's got 17 likes that, but the amount of people who's messaged me or even like just spoke to me about that since where it's like, oh, I feel like I'm not too far behind. Like,
Hmm.
don't keep your plant powered coach going, but just bring in these other ones. Like, and even when it comes to your personal brand page, mate, it's easy. Just get a bank of images of you and just do some daily carousels on there, but just get that flow. I'm
Yeah.
not like that's the gold standard for me. The reason that I'm saying 14 is that I do 10 posts onto my personal Instagram per week, but I also do 10 posts onto my company page per week. I mean,
Hmm.
7 posts onto my company.
Yeah.
So it's like the more volume that you've got kind of going out and with the, and because it's not about the quality and level that you go to on the creative now. It's like how hard hitting is this post?
Hmm.
So when we're looking at the style of content that you've got flowing on that page there compared to that is going to pop. That one, literally, why are you vegan? What the health documentary? Animal cruelty. Those freestyle posts there alone, on that one, stories on bin served meat and mocked by friends in there. Those style of posts will have more impact for trust and sales and revenue and growth than any little food comparison plate fucking video that you put out there known to man.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
Undoubtedly. That's not to say that you don't keep your food stuff going,
Hmm. Yeah.
but then you comes to build on it from there. What I will do is I will process. I will write you a overview where it's like Plant Power Coach Instagram and Andrew Roberts Instagram, and I'll put Monday to Sunday, and I will basically do a topic selection. So I'm not going to choose format because you can decide that. It's easy to do a BTS overlay or a reel or whatever. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that across these two pages you're hitting the right topics on each.
Yes. Yeah.
And that
No, that'd
gives
be
you
really
and
helpful.
that gives you like a 7 day rotation structure. And then I'll write up because what I'll basically do is that on your North Star objectives here,
Hmm.
either I can't remember if I got a call now at 11 or not. Um, I can't see. I'll basically write up the four areas. So that's basically appointment, settings, system, fix, primary, Instagram, fix, side quest, personal, Instagram, fix, YouTube. That mate, there's not really much else I would focus on that there because as soon as this is in action properly, this is in action properly, this is in action properly, and that's been managed properly with the strategy that I write up, you don't need to be focusing on all else. Your basics
Yeah.
like yeah, doing a lead magnet per week, mint, and all that type of stuff. Like
Hmm.
on here, mate. Like you've obviously got a full opportunities list that is processed with my trained AI on how I'd. So like, this is the same process as I onboard a one-to-one client, and I will basically build their entire spec based on that document alone there.
Right. Yeah.
But but I always come back down to North Stars because when you go through that opportunities document, you're like, fuck, there's so much here to focus on.
Yeah.
Get those four areas right, and this situation will be very different. I'm highly confident in it.
Okay. Awesome. And the final question on that, you mentioned about like the webinars and stuff. I'm not doing them at the moment. Is that something you'd recommend each month?
If I was in a spot where well, it depends, mate. It's like the only thing that had stopped me from doing it is do I have the time and capacity to do it? So like for
Hmm.
me, I've done live workshops for the last 6 months, right? I'm stopping for 3 months now. The reason that I'm
Yeah.
stopping for 3 months now is because I'm investing heavily into Claude Code.
Hmm.
So I haven't, but if as soon as I get time back, I'm always going to do that live workshop
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's the same concept as having that YouTube episode. But that's why I'm saying is if you had two of these YouTube episodes going out per week, which were 8 to 10 minutes long each,
Hmm.
you're getting a similar impact to what you do one on a live workshop. So if I had a choice between you doing two YouTubes per week and a live workshop, I'd fucking go that YouTube route all day long.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, cool.
because there's no barrier to entry with it. People can just view it. Whereas a workshop, there's a lot. Like if I was going to turn around to you and be like, I want to do a workshop, if you saw the campaign plans I do for an individual workshop, oh, you'll be
Mm.
able to see it. If you go onto Personal Brand SS on IP Fusion, I've basically shown you the level of depth that I go to for a single workshop campaign for Rob Gallagher.
Yeah, it must
And
take ages.
that's a lot. Well, it's not because I'm fucking so in touch with AI.
Yeah,
But if it were you to go, I do that, and you to do YouTube's, I'd be going 100% all in on YouTube's, pal.
yeah. Okay. All right. Amazing. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it a lot.
Right, leave this for me, and I'll get tapped up, and I'll fire it over to you in a bit. Yeah.
Legend. Cheers,
All right,
mate.
see you in a bit, pal.
Thanks for your time. Bye bye.